back to our wood door series.
Glad to be back.
Brad, what's the biggest reason you see people making the choice to go with a wood door product these days?
I'm glad you asked, because so often we get down in the details, right? Do you have enough overhang? What kind of wood? What kind of glass? How big should it be?
Better paint it right.
Yeah, better paint it right. What's the warranty? All these things. When it comes right down to it, why does someone pick a wood door? Because it looks beautiful. You cannot replicate the look, even though it gets tried all the time. You can't replicate the uniqueness of a piece of wood. Each piece of wood is like a fingerprint. It's a one of a kind. No two pieces of wood are alike, therefore no two doors are alike. It looks beautiful. You can get whatever design you want, whatever shape, whatever glass type, whatever wood species. There's just no limitations. And when you come to your home, don't you want to fall in love with that look every day? So you can do that with a wood door.
Are there styles out there that are just tried and true? They were good 75 years ago. They're good today. And then also maybe what you're seeing as far as trends in the market lately.
Yeah, boy, their doors throughout the home can vary in style, but it's something about the front door. The front door is the big impact door, isn't it? Yeah. It's the first thing that a visitor sees when they come to your home. It's actually, if you think about it, it's the first thing they touch and they interact with. So you may have the most beautiful home in the world, but if your front door doesn't match, it can really make a statement to a visitor or someone to come into your home. So I'm glad we're talking about trends and design trends. So as we've discussed in other episodes, you can get whatever you want. Okay, we know that with a wood door. You can have whatever size wood type. So you can create the story of your home with your front door. So what are some things we're seeing right now? Trend-wise, one thing I think is interesting is size, right? Doesn't have to be, we've talked about sizes in other episodes, doesn't have to be 36 inches wide. It could be 42, 48, some dimension in between, any size. So a trend we're seeing is maybe a real high-end home 30 years ago had double doors, let's say, on the front. Instead of that now, maybe we're seeing a single door, but in that same size opening. Another idea is maybe you'd have a door component, and then on each side we call them side lights, but two windows that match the door. Instead of that, maybe now it's just one big door component, or it's one big door component, one side light. So size is a trend we're seeing change. So you can really make a statement in the front of your house with just a different size. You know, it does something to the eye, something to the design of the home, just think in a different size. Another design idea to keep in mind is design families. If you turn on HGTV, they're talking about modern farmhouse. They're talking about contemporary. They're talking about craftsman. They're using these terms that represent popular home styles used in today's construction. There's been trends that will come and go with that, but some of these are tried and true, whether it's, especially in the Northwest, something like a craftsman home, even when it ebbs and flows, but that's a pretty popular design style here in the Pacific Northwest. So we do, just to help homeowners in their selection, we organize our door styles that we offer in these design families. So if you know that my home is a craftsman style home, you could, to just save some time, flip to or click to the craftsman section in our offering, and it helps kind of narrow your choices down on door designs that are made for that particular design style. Another Northwest design style that's popular is a modern style, right? Here, especially as you get into the city, maybe less ornamentation on the doors, real clean, real simple. We have a collection of doors that are made for a modern or contemporary home. We even have a collection of doors, if we go to the other end of the spectrum, For Victorian homes, highly ornamental, highly decorative. As we know, there's every type of home in every market. But if you know the style of your home and you want a door that fits that style, we have it organized in an easy way that help narrow your choices down to fit that. Now, to totally confuse the issue is some people with their front door make a statement by having it, let's say, eclectic or unexpected compared to what the home design is. That is something you can do. Since that front door is so important to the look of the front of your home, you can really change that overall feel. You have a craftsman style home and you want a modern looking door, that's something to consider. One thing to look at as you're considering what to do, use all these great online resources, whether it's an Instagram or a Pinterest. There are a lot of great ideas of creative homeowners that have created either something that fits their design style of their home or something that's completely unexpected.
Gotcha. You mentioned checking out social media. I'm assuming you've got different tools as well that help people with their choices on door styles and or maybe glazing. Absolutely. Visualizers, things of that nature.
Yeah, great question. First of all, we do have a great community on social media. So if that's the way you get your information and make decisions about how to update your home, we're there for you on all channels. If you're looking for some really specific visualization tools, we do have that, simpsondoor.com. And we have things like you can customize your door, and then you could try it on the front of your house. So you can upload a picture of your home. You can really take the guesswork out of, if you're creating a custom door, what's it going to look like on my house? You can see that on our website. Other visualization tools is you can see what a door looks like with any type of glass. So you pick your door and you're not sure, maybe you don't have the samples physically in front of you, but you want to see what a particular glass type looks like. Simple click. It'll show you the door you like with the specific glass type you want shown in a real world setting. So you get an idea of how private, how much of that texture changes the look of the door. All those tools and then some are available to you at simpsondoor.com.
I love that. We've touched on it throughout this series, but since we're talking about choosing an entry door here, maybe we should hit again the whole idea of I've got the entrance to my home, but I have an inadequate overhang and or protection for the door. Can you quickly run us down again what those options are, or those best choices in that situation are for the homeowner?
Yeah, an important step in the process. What's great is your DUN specialist is going to walk you through this. But a quick summary is you do like a certain amount of protection from the elements with any exterior product, but especially your front door. Again, it's a nice piece of furniture we're talking about here. And so we want to keep it protected from the elements. If you have an overhang that sticks out over the front of your door, at least half the distance of the height of that overhang. I'll explain that again. So from your porch to that overhang, let's just say that's 10 feet. Then you would want your overhang to extend at least 5 feet. If you have that or more, we consider that a great overhang for a front door, and you can use absolutely any door that we make. If your overhang is something less than that, so I think of the back patio, a lot of times there's no overhang on the back of the house. Or maybe it's a more modern home design where there's no protection on the front of the house. No problem. Let's just make sure you're using the right product for that. We have a couple products that are made for that tough exposure to the elements. Extended warranties, no problem. The brand names to keep in mind are our water barrier technology and also our Nantucket collection. So both of those door collections are suitable for full exposure to the elements with no overhang.
Okay. You talked about these bigger doors being a trend. What percentage of those are you seeing actually being installed in a pivot door situation versus traditional hinges?
I think it's a small percentage now, but growing. We're taking note of it. So once a door is so big that maybe it would cause it not to operate correctly on typical side hinges, that's a great example for a pivot hinge. So to explain it, and I'm sure we'll put some pictures to help the users here, but it rotates on a pivot. So it actually opens both ways. Most of the door will open in, but there's one side of the door that opens out slightly. So it's going around rotating around a central pivot,
right,
if you will. So that's a great way. Even when you have a very, very heavy door and it's on a pivot hinge, it operates with the touch of a finger. You wouldn't know that it weighs hundreds and hundreds of pounds just because of the way it easily operates. Another thing with a pivot system is you can, based on the hardware we use on a pivot system, you can control the speed of how quickly that door opens and closes. You can control how far that door will open. Maybe you have a wall you don't want it to bang into. You can make a setting so it doesn't open. You can also control that last part of the operation as it's about to latch. I'll use the terminology. I think we're familiar with the term like a soft close in the cabinet industry, right? Pivot doors, we can have a functionality that operates similarly that helps just pull it closed, that last little bit of the operation.
Okay. As I hear you describe a pivot door scenario, it makes me wonder, do the overhang rules of thumb play there, or do you need even more protection? It seems like if it's operating both ways, can you weather strip it as effectively, or do you need to be a little bit more careful?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. It's the same rules of thumb. You'd still want overhang protection, but it's not any more or less than a typical door. One thing with a pivot door system in terms of its weatherability, if you will, it all uses the same concepts as you would a typical hinge door. So it still has the same weather stripping concept you'd see on each side of the door. The top and bottom has a little bit unique of a weather stripping system just because the door opens both ways, top and bottom. So you can't have a stop there that stops the operation of the door like you would typically. Yeah. And so we do have to use a little bit different weather stripping system. We use a double brush system, top and bottom of the door, that functions exactly the same way, but it does function a little differently than your typical side hinge door.
Yeah. When I think of pivot doors and larger pivot doors, it makes me think of new construction, kind of luxury homes. That's where my head goes.
Yeah,
but I know sense. when we met to prepare for this, you said there's some retrofit scenarios where it makes sense potentially. You talked about in the old days, maybe you had a double door or maybe a door and a side light. Do those lend themselves well to potentially a retrofit scenario with a pivot door? Yeah,
that pivot door system, the way we make it lends itself perfectly for a retrofit. So if you have a double door system, let's say right now, and you're looking to make a statement, you want to upgrade it, but you don't want to reconstruct the front of the home, reframe it. You want to use that same opening size. We can make a single door that fits that size in a pivot system, and you can fit that into your home. There are some pivot systems that may require you to put a mechanism maybe into the subfloor or into the structural framing above. In our instance, when we manufacture our pivot system, there is nothing to put into the structural framing. All the operation that allows it to pivot, allows you to put different settings on it, it's all built into the door. So you can take an existing opening where you have, let's say, a double door, and put a single pivot door in its place without reconstructing the wall, without putting anything into the subfloor. It's all built into the door and the framing of that unit.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Thought we could close out this episode discussing the topic or the choice in a retrofit scenario of somebody choosing to just replace their door slab versus I'm going to pull out the old slab, the frame, everything, and put in a brand new pre-hung unit. From your standpoint, could you talk about the pros and cons of that choice?
You bet. So really, no reason that a homeowner can't replace just the door component, as you said, door slab only, no problem. That is capable. You can take your old door and the new door can be machined to fit that existing opening. I will say this though, I think by the time a homeowner is considering a front door replacement, one of the reasons they are is maybe it's time for it to be replaced, right? It's showing wear and tear. My guess is the frame might be showing the same age as the door. So oftentimes, even though you can replace the door only, a lot of times a homeowner may consider, you know what, since we're going this far replacing the door, let's go all the way, get not only the beauty and the functionality of a new door, but the beauty of a functionality of a new sill, of new jambs, certainly the technology of a sill, the component that goes under the door has improved incredibly over the last couple decades. So if you're looking to improve your door that might be 20, 30, 40 years old, a good thing to consider is get a new door, new sill, new jambs. Might be time for the whole upgrade.
Yeah. That's super great advice. I think you're right. I think even jam products now have sort of adopted your ultra block technology. And
they have, yes.
Bottom 18 inches or something, the jam leg is composite. So you don't run into some of those challenges of rot, which we've seen in the Northwest for years. Another great episode, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.